You are standing in your kitchen, bare feet on the tile. It is 6:17 in the morning. The coffee has not started yet. You reach for a plate from the drying rack, and that is when you see them. A black line. Moving. Not one ant. Not 10. A column, hundreds of them, marching in a single file across your countertop, up the cabinet door, disappearing into a crack behind the toaster that you did not even know existed until this moment. Your hand goes to the cabinet under the sink, the spray bottle, the chemical that smells like a hospital and takes your breath away if you stand too close. You have done this before. Spray the line, kill the scouts, wipe the counter, go to work. And then tomorrow morning, 24 hours later, they are back. A new line, a different crack. More of them, as if you never sprayed at all. That is because you did not kill the ants. You killed the messengers. And the colony, the queen, the nest, the thousands of ants you cannot see, just sent more. Today, this ends. 2 ingredients, both already in your kitchen. Cost, less than $1. Result, the entire colony, every ant, every egg, the queen herself, dead within 48 hours. The first ingredient is the bait. The second ingredient is the weapon. Stay with me, and here is the number that matters. The average ant colony contains between 4,000 and 7,000 ants. 4,000. Inside your walls, under your floor, beneath the concrete slab of your patio. You see the 100 on your countertop, and you think that is the problem. It is not. Those 100 are less than 3% of the colony. Here is what the spray does, and why it will never solve the problem. An ant that finds food in your kitchen does not eat it. It takes a sample, turns around, and walks back to the nest. As it walks, it drags its abdomen along the surface, releasing a chemical trail called a pheromone. That trail is a map, a flashing neon sign in ant language that says, "Food, this way, follow me." When you spray that scout, you kill it. But the pheromone trail is still there, and the colony still has 4,000 more ants. They follow the trail. They find the food. They leave more trails. You spray again. They send more. This is not pest control. This is a war of attrition, and you are losing. The question is not whether ants will find your kitchen. They will. The question is whether you will keep killing scouts forever, or kill the colony once and be done with it. And to kill the colony, you do not need a spray that works on contact. You need something the ants will carry back to the nest themselves. You need a Trojan horse, something they want so badly they will feed it to their own queen. That is what the 2 ingredients give you. The first ingredient is white sugar. Granulated. The same bag sitting in your pantry that you paid approximately $3 for at any grocery store in the United States. You have used it for cookies, for coffee, for birthday cakes. Today, you will use it as bait. Ants do not eat sugar for pleasure. They eat it for survival. An ant colony runs on carbohydrates. Worker ants forage up to 300 feet from the nest, the equivalent of a human walking 15 miles to get lunch. And they are searching for one thing above all else: sugar. Simple carbohydrates, quick energy that can be broken down and shared with every ant in the colony through a process called trophallaxis. Trophallaxis is the ant colony's feeding system. A worker ant finds food, consumes it, stores it in a specialized stomach called the crop, separate from its own digestive stomach, and then returns to the nest. When another ant is hungry, it taps the worker's head with its antennae. The worker regurgitates a droplet of food from its crop. That ant shares it with another, and another, and another. One drop of sugar water can feed dozens of ants in a single chain. This is the weakness. If what the worker carries back is pure sugar, the colony is fed. The colony grows. The queen lays more eggs. Your problem gets worse. If what the worker carries back is sugar laced with something else, something the ant cannot taste, cannot detect, cannot avoid, then every ant in that trophallaxis chain consumes it. The larvae consume it. The queen consumes it. Sugar is the invitation. It is what gets you through the door. Ingredient number 1, 1 tablespoon, white granulated sugar. Set it aside. The second ingredient costs approximately $5 for a box that will last 5 years. It is sitting in the laundry aisle of every grocery store in America, next to the detergent. Most people walk past it. They do not know what they are holding. Borax, sodium tetraborate, a naturally occurring mineral mined from evaporated lake beds in California, Nevada, and Turkey. Your great-grandmother used it for laundry. Museums use it as a fire retardant. And ants cannot survive it. Here is the science that matters. Borax is toxic to insects, not because it burns them on contact like a chemical spray. The kill is slower than that. And that slowness is the entire point. When an ant ingests borax, the compound interferes with its digestive enzymes. Specifically, it disrupts the ant's ability to process and absorb nutrients from food. The borax crystals act as microscopic abrasives inside the ant's digestive tract, not enough to kill immediately, but enough to cause systemic failure over 24 to 48 hours. The ant does not die on your countertop. It returns to the nest. It feeds the borax-laced sugar to the colony through trophallaxis. Other ants die. The larvae die. And eventually, 36 to 48 hours after the bait is placed, the queen receives enough borax through the feeding chain that she stops laying eggs. Then she stops moving. Then the colony collapses. Every ant, every egg, the queen, gone. Not because you sprayed 100 scouts, because you turned their own survival instinct, the drive to feed the colony, into the delivery system for their destruction. And here is the detail that matters most. Borax has no odor, no taste that ants can detect. Mix it with sugar, and the ants cannot tell the difference between the bait and the weapon. They take both. They feed both. They die from both. Ingredient number 2, 1 teaspoon, borax powder. Here is exactly how to do this. Write this down. The ratio is the difference between the ants dying and the ants ignoring your bait entirely. 3 parts sugar, 1 part borax, 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of borax powder. Mix them dry in a small bowl until the white powder is evenly distributed through the crystals. Then add just enough warm water, approximately 2 tablespoons, to create a thin paste, not runny, not dry. The consistency of cake batter. The water dissolves the sugar, which releases the scent. Ants detect sugar in water from up to 10 feet away. The borax dissolves partially, suspended in the solution. When the water evaporates, the sugar recrystallizes with borax trapped inside the crystals. The ants cannot separate them. Now, placement. This is where most people fail. Do not put the bait on your countertop. Do not put it in the middle of the ant trail. The ants are already committed to a food source when they are on your counter. They are not searching. They are harvesting. You must place the bait at the entry point. Find the crack, the gap between the baseboard and the floor, the hole around the pipe under the sink, the hairline fracture in the windowsill. That is where the scouts enter and exit. That is their highway. Take a cotton ball. Soak it in the borax sugar paste until it is saturated, but not dripping. Place it directly in the path of the ant trail, as close to the entry point as you can get. If the trail splits, place multiple cotton balls, one at each entry. If you have pets or small children, place the cotton ball inside a small container with holes punched in the lid. The ants will find their way in. The dog will not. For outdoor colonies, if you can see the mound in your yard, the same mixture works. Pour it directly around the mound, not on top of it. The ants will carry it inside. One cotton ball, one entry point, one night. You place the cotton ball at 7 p.m. You go to bed. Here is what happens while you sleep. Hour 1. A single scout ant discovers the bait. It tastes the sugar. It fills its crop with the paste. It turns around and follows its own pheromone trail back to the nest. Hour 3. The scout reaches the colony. It begins trophallaxis. The sugar-borax mixture passes from the scout to a nest worker. From that worker to a larvae feeder. From the larvae feeder to the developing pupae. From a soldier ant to the queen's attendant. From the attendant to the queen herself. Hour 8. The first worker ants begin to slow down. Their digestive systems are failing. They cannot process nutrients. They stop responding to pheromone signals. They wander away from the colony and die. Hour 12, approximately 7 a.m. the next morning. You walk into your kitchen. The ant trail is thicker than it was last night. This is normal. This is good. The colony has detected a rich sugar source, and they have mobilized every available forager. You are seeing more ants because the bait is working, not because it is failing. Do not spray them. Let them eat. Let them carry it home. Hour 24. The first wave of worker ants is dead. Larvae are dying in their chambers. The queen is receiving borax through the feeding chain, and her egg production is dropping. Hour 36. The queen stops laying eggs entirely. The colony has no new workers to replace the dead. The pheromone trail on your countertop fades. The ants stop coming. Hour 48. The queen is dead. Without her, the colony cannot survive. The remaining workers scatter. The nest is abandoned. The crack behind your toaster is silent. 2 days, 2 ingredients, less than $1. And here is what the $8 can of ant spray from the hardware store does not tell you. Most ant sprays are contact poisons, pyrethroids, synthetic versions of chemicals found in chrysanthemum flowers. They work by disrupting the ant's nervous system on contact. Instant paralysis, instant death. That sounds effective. It is not. Because when a contact spray kills an ant, it kills it on your countertop, not in the nest. The colony never encounters the poison. The queen, who never leaves the nest, who lives entirely on food brought to her by workers, is completely protected. She keeps laying eggs. The colony replaces the dead scouts within hours. Worse, some ant species, when they detect the chemical smell of a dead ant, split the colony. The queen produces a second reproductive female. Half the colony leaves. You now have 2 nests instead of 1. The borax-sugar method bypasses every defense the colony has. The ants bring it inside themselves. They feed it to each other. They feed it to the queen. There is no detection. No colony split. No chemical resistance. Borax has been killing ants the same way for over 100 years, and ants have never developed immunity to it. They cannot. It is a physical abrasive, not a chemical nerve agent. There is nothing to adapt to. One method kills the ant you can see. The other kills the ants you cannot. 2 things you must know before you do this. First, borax is toxic if ingested in large quantities by humans or pets. A cotton ball soaked in 1 tablespoon of borax sugar paste is not a large quantity. A dog would have to eat several cotton balls to experience more than mild stomach upset. But you will not let your dog eat any cotton balls. You will place them behind appliances, under the sink, inside a plastic container with ant-sized holes, where pets cannot reach. Second, borax is not the same thing as boric acid. Do not substitute. Boric acid is more toxic and requires different ratios. Buy the green box. 20 Mule Team. Borax, the laundry aisle, $5. That is the one. For kitchen surfaces, if you are placing the bait on a countertop, put a small piece of wax paper or a jar lid under the cotton ball. The bait touches the paper, not the counter. When the ants are gone, you throw away the paper. The counter is clean. That is it. 2 safety rules. Both simple. Both important. 2 ingredients: sugar and borax. 1 tablespoon of one, 1 teaspoon of the other. Warm water. A cotton ball, placed at the entry point before you go to bed. 2 days later, the colony that sent 1,000 ants across your countertop is dead. Not scattered, not suppressed. Dead. From the queen to the last egg. And here is what the hardware store will not tell you. They sell you the spray because the spray keeps you buying. You spray the scouts. They come back. You spray again. You are a subscription customer. They need you to keep losing. You do not need to keep losing. The people who built homes 100 years ago knew this. They didn't have spray cans. They had sugar in the pantry and borax in the laundry. They had the knowledge. And then somewhere along the way, between the television commercials and the supermarket end caps, the knowledge was replaced by products. Simple became complicated. Effective became profitable. The knowledge was never lost. It was just no longer taught. In the comments below, tell me, have you ever tried the borax-sugar method? Did it work the first time? Or did you make the mistake of spraying the scouts instead of waiting? I read every comment. The next video covers what to do when mice find your pantry. The 3-ingredient bait that sends them out of your home and keeps them out. You will not hear that story anywhere else. They stopped teaching this. We will not. Subscribe.